All right, this is Abreha here, proclaiming your personal healing advanced. I've been away for like 4 months. I haven't been able to make a video. I just never got a chance to make a video. A lot of insight has still been coming through me, and I've just been writing it on in my own personal time. Just through my days, I've been a lot busier, way busier, and just enjoying the flow of different lifestyle, different way of being, and yeah, I had an insight in the car today, and so I was baking some salmon. I had like 57 minutes to longer, so I'm letting it bake now, and I whipped up a quick PowerPoint, and I get to kind of express my most freshest reflection that I had on the way back home. And my reflection was on proclaiming your personal healing advanced facet of it. And it's on visualizing previous places of residence, places that you slept, places that you had lived your life in, and being able to peel into it surgically and seeing different emotions that you may have had there, because they can authentically bring back frequencies to you that will help resolve something in you to make you more complete in the present moment. And also disentangling from other aspects that you may carry with you as well. So things you want to bring back, things you want to throw away. But I feel like with time, the way time is projected, the addiction that we have to time, there is an aspect of, if you learn this lesson during this time, you can only reap the wisdom from it, by repeating the lesson again and again. But I feel like, with some lessons, you can go back to that first, the source. You just go back to the source, follow it, you kind of follow the vein up from the source. And the intended purpose of this is so that, your adventure, your sense of adventure, your sense of momentum in your life, and sense of amazing experiences being had are the only thing that's really left. After disentangling, peeling into it, and extracting the wisdom. I don't want to go too. I feel like going too deep in it kind of defeats the purpose of opening this topic up, as a discussion. But for me, my personal recovery process on this has been going deep into like the old memories of not one. I don't remember anything from age one. Maybe ages 4 to 15. That 11-year span of existence for me was really just has been unpacking itself lately. And whatever I needed to kind of go back over, certain things were like that I used to do were really fun. The togetherness of the family, the way everybody used to be, jumping, being bored, waiting for my parents come home, surviving my first cold or stomach virus, the emotions that I felt there. Someone's cooking. And so the going back, peeling into it, that emotion that you had when you had your first friend come over, for me these are all emotions that I've had. I know I feel like I've lived a very blessed life, in that I have these. But I mean, it's pretty common. It can be quite common in a lot of circles that have this. And so pretty much you're just peeling into these different little nooks and crannies of your own consciousness and finding certain emotions, and expanding that silver lining. It may only be like a micro expression, or it's almost like you're psychically imagining the good that could come from it, but it gets like short circuited. I think Sean Bond calls it a dead man switch, but it's like somebody just turns your light on for a split microsecond and then turns it back off. And there's these little, in my experience, little flickers of light switches going on and off, in which I'm surgically going into and expanding those emotions and emanating that from my whole body. And when you feel into, I think I speak of this on previous, but as many speakers who speak on how feelings attract more of that same feeling, and then that the feeling will eventually. The feeling is resulting from a high density of thoughts. So that feeling and thoughts create the reality around you. So I've felt really. I don't know if this applies for anyone else, but I felt really like my surroundings don't reflect a lot of the experiences that I kind of feel my identity is, which is a certain level of family and togetherness and a certain level of camaraderie, which I feel that I don't really see reflected back at me. So I feel like it's my responsibility to feel that more deeply, as opposed to the disconnectedness or the distortion distortion levels that I may see. Just kind of this gray hue over certain places, people, things that I used to notice. And then when I started doing this, all the little weird, even some things that it would be positive, but the way in which that it's coming, it's kind of like a lower fourth dimensional manifestation. How they talk about that expression of talk, that spiritual, dimensional way where it's like really heightened and fast, but it's not necessarily connecting with you on a soul level or on a complete level. It's a fragmented positive expression. So I've been working with a lot of meditations that have granted me that, or it would be like a thing where I'd attract it, but as it's coming to me, all desire for it to kind of just leaves. You know what I mean? And I'll just kind of not even know what it's about, not even step forward into it. And sometimes I'll just kind of leave it there. Like, soulmate would just be waiting for me there at the bar, and I just pretty much walk back to the kitchen and, hide or not hide, but, turn on my phone and just kind of zone out because I'll just feel exhausted. And I notice things tend to come when you're in that exhausted state of hyper activity. That's when all the manifestations that you want come, because in that exhaustion from the hyperactivity, you may be at your most receptive, which I find interesting, but is almost caught, dead on. And so perseverance is key with these practices. I really wanted to make it as simple as possible, and so with that perseverance, we're segueing into tools to out-create a toxic work environment. What I find works is actually a tool from The Secret, but they only talk about it for such a short amount of time. And almost in the way that they packaged it, the appreciation logs in The Secret kind of made, at least for me, it made me feel like it wasn't emphasized as much as it could be on how efficient this practice of physically writing as opposed to typing. An appreciation log about a problem source. The example that I put was pretty funny. Was what I appreciate about my staff is they give me creative reins to succeed without dominating anyone. That's a perfect. But you have to do at least one sentence like that every day, or if you want to do more a day, and it can get kind of scrapey. I notice it's very scrapey, and you're just scraping together appreciation for what the situation can get. But even if you have to fake it, it does change the vibe. It does change the vibe, and I've seen it happen right before my eyes, and it's just as easy as picking up a pen and taking it some time early in the morning. Hopefully, when you first wake up, you really want to kill it. 20 minutes, that first 20 minutes when you're still coming out of delta into alpha and into beta, you do this. Oh man. Physically writing on receipt paper the lesson or theme of the day in mid shift and the next, like if you work at a place that has receipts or whatever, receipt papers, quote unquote, um, you write the theme of the day or the lesson of the day or a reflection on the day on how you could move forward with a more progressive goal. That really changes everything, especially with all the movements in your fingers and your hands. There's like 10,000 different movements your fingers makes when you're writing, and it's really powerful. I did it in the middle of so there's a bar that I'm working at, and it was really packed. It was really boisterous and loud, and there's a bunch of waiters just swirling around me, and I printed out some receipt paper. I got on the wall and I started writing it was like a long reflection on all the information that I had of the day. And after I was done writing it, I wrote the seed of life symbol. I like to write that symbol on my reflections, and it is a powerful symbol to write. You do that, you do your reflection, and then kind of find a way to create an artistic picture with it. Seed of life. It's not any of these ones. This is the flower of life. The seed of life is literally just kind of like this, but it's close enough. I know I have a picture of it in mind, but this is close enough. It's like this, except it's pretty much like this. And I did something like this, except the circles weren't overlapping. They were each kind of touching like this, and then I would draw like a circle around the whole thing, and that would be my practice for pretty much creating harmony in the space. And yeah, that's pretty much my quickie for this show, and I will broadcast more in the future. I have a lot of insight to share, a lot of fresh insight, so that will be it. Reflections.com. Abreha is signing out. Thank you.